Okay, so this is going to be exercise 5. It says create a database with the following field names and data types. You are to create the database and you are to set the field names and data types as specified in the paper. Then you need to select an appropriate field that set it to primary key and then import the file this to your database. Now there are two ways to do this. First, you can create the database and import the data into your database. Two, you can straight away import and specify the field names and data types yourself. So let's create the database and look at that procedure. So we'll open up Access, create a blank database, save where you want to. Let's say I want to save it on my desktop. So this is one. Now this is a blank table. Since we are to create the database, I'm going to take help from the paper. Specify the field names. Table is going to be named as prods. Okay, so field names are code, country, product, stock. So I will type in code, country, product, stock, reorder, price, special, notes. Reorder, price, special, notes. Then we are to specify the data types. Code is set to be numeric and it is supposed to be integer. This field also contains unique data. So unique data can only be with the primary keys. So we're going to set this as number, and in the field properties it is basically set as long integer, so referring to only whole numbers. And since this is going to have unique data, that means it needs to be set as my primary key, so making sure that the primary key is active. Next is country and product. They are supposed to be short text, so they are already specified as short text. Then comes the stock, which is supposed to be numeric integer, and reorder is also numeric integer. So stock needs to be number, long integer, reorder, number, long integer. Then we have price, which is numeric currency. So the data type is going to be set as currency. And this is Boolean. So that is basically yes or no. The special is going to be yes or no. Memo or text. So notes can be left as short text. Data types being specified. This special field needs to be displayed as yes or no or a checkbox. So you have the option. You can go with yes or no, or you can go with checkbox. If, for example, I have to set it as yes or no, I will go back to my selection of the field. Under the field properties, format is set to yes, no. In the lookup, I'm going to change this to text box. Right? So general, format yes, no, and the lookup, display control to be set as text box. Next, select an appropriate field and set it as a primary key. We have already done it. Now you need to import this file to your database. Which database? That you just created with these fields and data types. Okay. So if you have done the process properly, you will not have any import errors. You're supposed to close this table, save your changes, double click to have a look at them, and then close it. Now you need to import the data. We go to external data, new data from file and text file. We click on browse, we try to locate the file which is m15prods.csv. So we will select it and click on open. Now we are not going to import this file as a new table in the current database. We are to import its data into our database which we just created. So that means we cannot go with this option. We have to select append a copy of the records to the table what? Prods. This is the table that we just created. So we click on OK. Now the data seems to be in a delimited format, so that is correct. We click on next. Over here, what delimiter separates your fields? It's a CSV file, so it's a comma. Do we select the first row as contains the field names? In this case, no, because we already created the database and the headings are already given. And if you look at the first row, these are not the headings. So we do not check this option in this case. Click on next. Import to the table prods. You see that you have very limited options when you do import data into created database, so you won't have that many options. You just click on OK. You don't even have to set the field properties because they are already set by the database, the one you created. So we click on finish. If you have done the process correctly, your data is going to be present in this table. So double click on it. All the data is present. You can double click on it and double click between the columns to best fit your data, just like you do it in Excel. All right, next, take a screenshot showing the field names and data types used. Place a copy of the screenshot in your evidence document. I've told you earlier as well, if you are to take a screenshot of your data structure, you are not going to take a screenshot of your table. You have to go to your design view, and over here you are going to take a screenshot which shows the table name, the field names, and the data type. So you just select this portion only, not the whole screen. Mind you, once you have taken the screenshot, let's say this is our evidence document, which is going to be a Word document. You're going to place your screenshot like this. It shows the table name, it shows the field names, it shows the data types, and it shows which field is being set to as primary key. Now you are to insert the 3 records. I will skip this part. I don't think so. That's going to be very difficult for you to add these records. You just have to add these records into your table. Are we clear on this? So let's move on to the report. Now, the moment you read that you need to produce a report, straight away you need to go to create, click on query design, add your table into the runtime, resize this so that all the fields are visible. Next, these are the pointers that you need to keep in mind in order to build your report. So I'm going to add all the fields into my runtime environment down below. So double clicking code, country, product, stock, reorder, price, special, notes. Now, contains a new field called cost, which is calculated at runtime. The field will calculate price multiplied by the reorder quantity. Okay, so the operation is price multiplied by reorder. That is it. You press enter. The remaining syntax will be added automatically. You just need to rename this as cost. Is that so? Yeah, it's cost. Now, once you add this field, you just click on run to apply it. Make sure that it is presenting with the data and the correct data. If you want to calculate, you can multiply the reorder with price and get to know the answer. Next up, we are done with this point. Has the cost field set as currency with 2 decimal places? So we right click on the cost price. Select properties, decimal places set to 2 and the format set to currency. Click on run to apply it. Make sure the changes are applied to your data and then come back to your design view. Close the property sheet. We don't need this anymore. We are done with this point as well. Now you need to show only the records where the stock is 50 or less and the product is not a special order. So we need to have the stock 50 or less, so less than or equals to 50, and the order is not a special order. Special is basically set as Boolean, so that means not a special order means that it needs to have no in it, so the criteria becomes no. Just click on run. Make sure that the stock is appearing is 50 or less and the special is appearing only as no. Next, we're done with this. Show only the fields code, country, product, stock, reorder, price, special, and cost in this order with all the data and labels displayed in full. So order can be set in the query design, but making sure that the data and the labels are displayed fully is going to be done when we generate the report. So what we're going to do, we're going to make sure that the order of the fields are same. So we have code, country, product, stock, reorder. Then we have price, special, and cost. Price, special, and cost. Notes is not required, so we're going to uncheck it. Okay, we're done with this part, half of it. We're going to do the rest, the labels, once we generate the report. Fits on a single page landscape. Again, later on in the report wizard, sort the data into ascending order of country. This is something that we can do in the query. So country needs to be set to ascending. Calculate the total cost of the order below the cost column. Has the format to currency with 2 decimal places. Label is this. Include the heading products to be reordered at the top of the page. This is going to be the name of our query, which is the title of our report, and your name, center number, candidate number on the left below the report. So we are done with the query part. We're going to close it, save it by the name of the report, which is products to be reordered. Products to be reordered. Now we go through the report wizard process. If we click on it, we go to create, we click on report wizard, select all the fields, click on next. No grouping is required. Click on next. Ascending, descending, we have done it. Click on next. Orientation needs to be landscape. We check this. Single page wide, we need to make sure that this is checked. Click on next. The title is this. You click on finish. The moment the report is generated, the first thing that you need to do is close the print preview and straight away go to your layout view. In your layout view, you are to reposition and resize the space which is going to be occupied by your fields. Try to make them evenly balanced throughout the page. That's about it. So order with all the data labels fully visible is done. Landscape is done. Now you need to calculate the total cost of the order below the cost column. So we are to make a total of the cost column. For that, we are to go to our layout view and then click on the data under the cost column. Head over to the report layout design. You have sigma totals. Drop it down. Click on sum. So that's the total of your cost column. Next, this is done. Total cost column will be formatted as currency with 2 decimal places. This is already in currency with 2 decimal places. If it is not, then you can right click on it, click on property, activate the property sheet. Over here, you can set the format as currency and decimal places to 2. You'll find these options in the format tab. Close. This is done. You are to add a label next to your cost total, which is total cost of order. This is going to be done in our design view of the report. So we head over back to our design view and we look for wherever the sum function is applied. This is applied over here in the report footer section. So we click on the report design and we click on the label, add it over here and label it. Products to be total cost of order. So this needs to be total cost of order. You can head back to your layout view to fix the position and the size of the label box, which is to be placed right next to the total, and we can set it to bold so that it is easily readable. Has your name, center number, candidate number on the left below the report. So below the report means report footer. Head back, go to your design view. This is our report footer at the bottom, right? Report design, again click on the label, draw a label box and add your credentials. Once done, head over back to your layout view. You can reposition and resize the label box. Keep this in mind, layout view does not give you how the report is to be printed or how it can be exported into a PDF. In IT, they might ask you to export your report in a PDF format. How do you do it? You go, first of all, have a look at the print preview. This is how our report looks like. Now it needs to be exported as a PDF or an XPS. So one way is, once you're in the print preview, you can click on print, and from the printer you can set it to select the printer as print to PDF. Once you do that, you just click on OK. It'll ask you where to save it. Let's say this is my report 1 and we click on save. So the report is basically printed in a PDF format and is being placed in your folder. So this is your report. In IT, the printing, or let's say the PDF part, is supposed to be done like this. It is simply printed and exported as a print to PDF format. You can also straight away, in the print preview, you can also straight away click on the PDF to or XPS over here. The option is visible under the data option group. You can click on it. It'll ask you where to save it. So let's say this is report 1 new. So this is the second PDF. Two ways to do this. Moving on. Produce labels from all the data. So since this is done, we are going to close this object and save all changes. We have one query, one report and one table only. Now we are to produce labels. For that, again, you need to create and click on query design. Add your table to your runtime environment because this is where you're going to apply your criteria. Resize this so that all fields are visible. Have a page orientation to portrait. This is basically related to the design part, so we deal with it later. Fit two side by side on the page. That is again going to be done later. Show only the records where country is India, special is yes, and the notes field is not blank. Now I'm not going to add all the fields. I'm only going to add those fields which are required for my labels. First criteria which is to be applied is on country, which is set to be in India. So I'll add country. I'll click on run. I need to have all those records which have India in them. So going to the design view, setting the criteria as India. Once applied, click on run to make sure that the criteria is applied all to your records. Come back to your design view. The next part is special is set to yes. So we are going to add special, and then special criteria is going to be yes. Click on run. Make sure that the criteria is applied. Come back to your design view. The next criteria is the notes field is not blank. So we are going to add notes. The criteria for not blank is simply not blank. Click on run. You get to have all the records which are not blank. Come back to your design view. Show only the fields code, product, price, and notes. Okay. So we have to add code. We're going to add code. Then we need product and price. Product, price, and then notes. So notes is already added. So we are just going to reposition this after price. And what about country and special? We don't need this. So we are going to uncheck them. We are not going to remove them. We are just going to uncheck them because the criteria is still applied even if you uncheck the show checkbox. This is how it is. Come back to your design view. So this is also done. They are to display on separate lines. We will deal with this. Show appropriate text to identify the fields. That is basically going to be the name of the fields. Sort the data in ascending order of product. This can be done in the query. So we will do this. Product seems to be in ascending. So we are just going to change it to ascending. Next, include the heading special Indian teas at the top of each label. So we are going to save our query with this name, special Indian teas. So we close this, we save it, and we name it as special Indian teas. This is our query. Now the labels are based on this query. We are going to select this query. We'll go to create and we click on labels. For labels, we are to count the number of lines like I told you. So code, product, price, and notes. There are 4 fields which are to be displayed on a separate line. So four lines are required. Again, the heading is supposed to be on top of each label. So that's the 5th line. And you are to show your name, center number, candidate number at the bottom of each label. So that is the 6th line. So we are to choose a size which has 6 lines. And it needs to have 2 side by side. So we are to set, or let's say select a size which says number 2 across. That means 2 labels are going to be across the page. So we select any of these, or let's say this one. Click on next. Over here, we are just going to count the number of lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 1 extra line. I can get rid of it later on. So let's see how we can do this. First of all, it's basically the title on the top of our label, which is special Indian teas. So we're going to type it out. Special Indian teas. Next line, we have to add our field, the first field, which is code. We are going to type the label ourselves, code, colon space, and then we add the field data like this. Then we need product, colon space, add the product. Then we need price, colon space, price. Then we need notes, colon space, notes. Last of all, we need to add our credentials. So we are going to type in our credentials. Once done, there's an extra line which we are going to remove later on. So next, we are not supposed to sort it. Next, this is the name of the report, although this is not going to be the title on the top. So we click on finish and we click on OK. So this is how our labels are going to be printed onto our page. We can close the print preview. As I was saying, you can make adjustments to your size of the label. If you extend this portion, so this is going to be the area which is going to be occupied by one label. If you look at the print preview now, this might go on to the next page, but they are fitting onto the same page. You can have separation between different labels. Right? Close the print preview. Okay. Another message that you are basically getting to see when I change my, let's say, go to my print preview, is that it says some data may not be displayed. There is not enough horizontal space on the page for the number of columns and column spacing you specified. Click the page setup on the file. This error is appearing because of the printer. So the printer might not be able to print your data due to the size being set horizontally. You can again set the size, you can extend it, or you can reduce it by selecting this portion like this and reducing the size altogether of all the labels and also the size of the label. Go on to your print preview. So now the error did not come, right? So you can make adjustments to the size of your label in the design view. Close the print preview and close the labels. We're done with the labels. Save all changes. Last of all, in this paper, you had a different kind of a report, which is basically termed as a summary report. It's a summary report. Produce a new report from all the data which shows a summary of only the country, product, and stock fields. Performs a count of the number of products for each country. Calculate the sum of the number of items in stock for each country. Only displays countries with more than 2 products. Save this data in a form which can be imported into a text document. Now, when you are supposed to make totals of multiple fields, let's say we are counting one field, we are also adding one field, then it seems to be of a summary report scenario. That summary report is going to be made not in the final report, but in the query. So summary is to be built or made in the query design. The process remains the same. We click on the create and we click on query design. We add a table, which is prods, making sure that all the fields are visible. Then we are going to add what? Country, product, and stock fields only. Okay. So country, product, stock. Click on run. This is how it appears. There are 124 records as of now. Come back to your design view. What do we need to show? Performs a count of the number of products of each country. You are to count the number of products each country makes. Right? 2. Calculate the sum of the number of items in stock for each country. How many items that country is basically keeping in stock of all the products that is to be added. Do you get the requirement? First, we are to count the number of products each country is making. Second, we are to add the number of items in stock for each country. Example, if we click on run, you can see that India is making this product, this product, this product, this product, this product. All of these are basically made by India. The stock of each product is basically listed over here. We are to show how many products India is making. So we are to count the records in which we have India. 2, we are to make a total of all the stock numbers of every product that they are making. So we are to total this column. This is going to be done in the query design. How do you do it? First of all, in your query design, you're going to add from the show or hide option group, you will see sigma totals over here. If you activate this, it will add a new row in your runtime environment, which goes by the name total. So you can group the data by certain operations. Okay. Let's say we are to count the number of products, right? So we are going to group the products by count. Once I select this operation and I click on run, you get to see that says count of product 1, this is 1, this is 1, this is 1. All are basically made by the same country, but they are not basically being counted as a group. They are appearing separately. They are appearing separately because of this column, which is the stock. Please note, each record, since it is different than the other, which is why it is not grouping. 50, 53, 76, 77, 101. Do you see 15 here? Why is it showing 15? Because there are 15 records of China, or the 15 products of China, which have the stock number as what? 10. This is why it's grouping only China. But we are to obviously show the count. Show the count means that we need to add the stock as well. So we go back to our design view. We are to show the number of stock of each country. So we are going to group it by sum. That will add the stock column. Now, if I've done this process correctly, when I click on run, I should only get to see one record by each country. Click on run. You have Ceylon, which is making 20 products, and the total number of stock is basically this. Similarly, if you look at China, they're making 45 products, and the total number of stock is basically this. Look at Kenya, they are making only 2 products. The total number of products in stock is 632. Do we all get this? I'll just go back. Look at the total of Kenya. 2 products, 632. Go back to your design view. I'm going to remove the grouping and then deactivate this. I don't want to group it. Come back to my design data sheet. I will only look at the records from Kenya. Look at this. Kenya is making only 2 products, and if you make a total of these 2 entries, 174 and 658, that should result in 632. This is what was required in the exam. You were to count the number of products each country is making and also make a total of the stock currently they have of these products. So going back, reapplying the same total, product is to be counted, stock is to be added. This is also stated in the paper. You have to perform a count of the number of products, calculate the sum of the number of items in stock each country. Last of all, only display countries with more than 2 products. So we have applied the count, we are going to just apply the criteria on the number of products. It should be greater than 2. Only display the countries which are making more than 2 products. So we are going to have the criteria as greater than 2. And since the count is applied, we click on run, we get to have only those countries which are making more than 2 products. This is basically our summary report. Now there can be 2 requirements by the examiner after you gather this data. They might ask you to export this as an Excel file, or let's say they might ask you to create a table. For a table, you need to take it to Excel. In order to take it to Excel, you need to go back to external data. First of all, you're going to save the query. Click on yes. Save it by the name extract always. Right? So I've saved it by the name extract. We select this, go to external data. We can click on Excel, export this file as an Excel file. 2. You can also export this file as a PDF. So in the external data export, you click on PDF and it can be exported as a PDF. The examiner might ask you to build a report. So in order to build the report, you can select this, go to create and follow the report wizard process. Right? So there can be multiple scenarios after you create your extract. Are we clear on this? After the extract, 2-3 scenarios. It can be a table. For table, you need to take it to Excel. It can be a PDF straight away. It can be a report and then a PDF. So you can do things after you are done with the query design. This was the end of your exercise 5. It says in this particular paper, it says save this data in a form which can be imported into a text document. So we are to export this as a document file. So again, the same extract, select it, go to external data. Under the export, you will get to see Word, not word merge, but Word. So in the more options, you will find Word. Export the selected object to rich text. Select this, click on browse, select where you want to save it. I want to save it in the same folder. Name is extract, save as type is rich text format. You click on save and click on OK. So the file is being exported and is being put into your folder. So this is my extract. You got this? Similar is the process with the Excel. Similar is the process with the PDF. Similar is the process with making a report first and then the PDF. So different ways through which you can export this. And this is named as extract. And how we did it? We built a summary report. So this was the solution to your task 5.